This material is called the blue triangles or the blue constructive triangles, and they are 12 identical triangles. They're blue on both sides. Some materials come with blue on one side, white on the other, but the ones that I have are made out of paper cardstock, and they are blue on both sides. And what is interesting about these triangles is that they are right-angled scalene triangles. And so when you work with a primary child with these triangles, all you're doing is inviting them to explore different ways of working with them. So ideally you would have them in a box and you would take them out and say, look, I have these triangles and I'm going to make something interesting with them or something fun. And you can just start, you don't have to have a design in mind, but you can just start kind of putting them together and seeing what you can make. I might put this here. You can turn them, right? So it's just a way for the primary child to explore. So once you have created something that you like, and you don't have to use all of them, but once you have created something you like, you'll say, this is a design that I'm happy with. I wonder what kind of designs you can come up with. And so then you just take your triangles, put them back, and you tell the child, well, now you are welcome to explore and let me know what interesting designs you come up with. And then you let the child explore on their own, or you can play around with them. But the really powerful part of this material is in the elementary years. Even if your child is not yet familiar with the parts of a triangle or the different types of triangles, you will be able to use this with your child. And take the material out with your child and then say, let's take a look at this triangle. If they know the types of triangles, you can discuss what it is. Yes, it's a scalene triangle and it has a right angle. So it's a right angle scalene triangle. And let's take a look at the angles. Now, if you have a 6-year-old, they might not know what an angle is. And so you can just say, this part right here is called an angle. This is also an angle. This is also an angle. So our triangle has 3 angles. Now we're going to give each angle a name. This is the little angle or the small angle. This is the medium angle. This is the large angle. So what we're going to do is make different designs. The first design that I'm going to show you how to make is a design where you put together all of the little angles. Let me show you. And so you begin. Here's the little angle. Here's the other little angle or small angle. Let's put them together. Small angle. Small angle. Small angle. At this point, you can invite your child to keep going. You can say, where's the small angle? And your child will show you, and then they will continue. And you can say this, what does it look like? The child might say it looks like a star or a pinwheel. I wonder how many points it has. And so you invite the child to count, and the child will say, well, it has 12 points. You say, yes, we can call it a 12-pointed star. But you know, there is another design that we can make with this star. So then you collect the triangles. Say, now we're going to connect the medium angles. So we start with this one. Where's the medium angle? Here. So we're going to connect it. Where's the medium angle? Here. And here's the other medium angle. This takes a little bit of practice, so make sure that you practice ahead of time. Here's the medium angle connected with this medium angle. You can let the child take over. What did we make? And the child will say, oh, another star. They can count the points. This is a 6-pointed star. And you can ask the child, oh, I have some triangles remaining here. Do you think we can make another one? And so they can make another one right next to it on their own. And you can say, there is yet another shape that we can make with these triangles. We've tried with the small angle, we've tried with the medium angle. Now let's try with the large angle. And so you start with the large angle, find the other large angle, put them together. Other large angle, the other large angle. And so now you've made a 4-pointed star, and you ask the child, I have 8 triangles left. How many more 4-pointed stars do you think I could make? And so there's a little bit of, stealth math in there, and the child will make 2 more. So once they're done with this, you can stop here, and then you can invite your child to recreate this on paper. So there's 2 ways that they can do it. If your child is really into cutting and pasting, then what they can do is take these triangles, especially if they're laminated or if they're in really good cardstock, and they can trace on a different color of cardstock. They can trace all the triangles, as many as they need, to create the design that they want, either the 4-pointed star, the 6, or the 12. And then they can paste them on paper, not your original material, but the one that they've made. They can paste it on paper. They can set it out first, plan it out first, and then paste it on paper. Now, if your child is not into cutting and pasting, what they can do is trace these directly on a large piece of paper. And so they would take a triangle, put it on the piece of paper, trace it, and then do the next one, and always making sure that they are connecting the angle that they are focusing on. So if they're either the small angle, the medium, or the large, they can trace them, and then they can paint them or color them in, use pastels. And so it can be a really beautiful art design. Now, this is a second activity that you can do with your child once they've had some experience creating the star. You can go from a star to an iris diaphragm. And this is something that you kind of see in old-fashioned cameras. And so if your child is, into photography, maybe you can connect it to that. But it's really just a really interesting exploration. And so what you're going to do is invite your child to build the 12-pointed star or the 6-pointed star, but it's ideal to start with the 12-pointed. And so once they've set this up, then you're going to say, okay, you see these points here? I want to eliminate them. I want to get rid of them. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold one, and I'm going to start here, and I'm going to slide so that the point is eliminated. I'm going to do the same thing here. You see this point? This point. And if your material is carefully made, you will end up with this. And so you see this right here is like an iris and the eye, right? And it would kind of open and close if this were a camera. And what's really interesting is that this creates a polygon. So if your child is familiar with the concept of polygons, you can invite them to count the sides, right? And so because we have 12 triangles, we would know that this is 12 sides. And you and your child would then be able to investigate, what do we call a polygon that has 12 sides? And we call it a dodecagon. But this is something that you can explore with your child and get them interested in finding out the names of polygons that have more than 10 sides. So you can do the same thing with the 6-pointed star and with the 4-pointed star and invite your child to explore and see what happens. And again, this is something that they can replicate on a poster. They can cut and paste the shapes, or they can trace them and then paint it in. And it can be a really beautiful exploration. Very engaging material that supports a lot of developmental skills.